Billy got it bumping.
Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Put a dude in this place, he out cold. With a tombstone, grapple the waist, get laid flat. Can't escape, nowhere to go, the cage match. It's on now, when I spot him, it's no problem. Everybody stone cold till they hit with the rock bottom. Sharpshooter, I won't miss him like Bret Hart. Like Al Snow, they gon' need him a head start. I just might catch a better body than Mickey James. Get acquainted with the name, we bringin' the pain. Like Kane in the ring, all I see is red. Paul era, Undertaker, I can see the dead. John Cena putting hands in your face. 10 DBS, keep a milli on the waist. B2TF, better stay in your place or get smacked down, play it safe. What you talking about?
Welcome to the latest edition of Boot to the Face, powered by FullPressCoverage.com. Go there for all your sporting wants and needs. I mean, who really cares about sports? You don't want to hear about sports this week, EJ.
Well, it's the world of NFL never sleeps. We had action. It didn't turn out for our NFL team, but shit happens.
That's all you're going to hear about. You're not going to hear about the 49ers losing to fucking Sam Darnold. You're not going to hear about the Eagles choking away a game to the Falcons out of nowhere. All you're going to hear about is how Dallas got their ass kicked, how they're overrated, not going to the Super Bowl, and Dak is overpaid, in week 2.
Yeah, you know how fickle the sports cycle is, but hey, it is what it is.
I watched a good UFC event on Saturday night, though.
Oh, you actually watched No J UFC?
Yeah. I saw a girl get her head busted open. Oh, my God. Ugh. It was weird, too, because she was bleeding. And me and my girlfriend were sitting there. My daughter went to sleep. And I was like, you ever watch UFC? She's like, no. I was like, all right, I'm going to throw it on real quick. So we threw it on, and it was women fighting. I was trying to explain to her. I was like, I like the women when they fight more than the men because, I don't know, it's just more entertaining to me. And we saw the first woman fight, and then we saw a couple fights. And then when that one happened, she was like, oh, my gosh, she's bleeding everywhere. Like, are they not going to stop the fight? I was like, no, they're not going to stop it. It's just a little cut. Because at first, when you watch it, she got headbutt, and the cut was very small. I mean, I'm sure you saw it, EJ. When they showed the replay in slow motion, you actually saw the cut like open up, and it was a tiny little cut. They should have stopped that fight like halfway after that because I can't remember the lady's name she was fighting, but she was teeing off on her forehead, and old girl kept doing this shit right here, like wiping the blood at her. I'm like, she can't even see. Like, that's not fair. And the end result was a gash that went from fucking Dallas to San Antonio. And then she had another one across her nose, and then she had one under, like on her eyebrow. Like, that woman's face is fucked up now.
Yeah, you talking about that Norma Dumont, Ariel Aldana, the last fight before the pay-per-view. Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on what doctors were there, and how bad the cut was. I watched the fight. That was the only fight on the prelims that I watched live. I went back and watched the rest of them. I'm guessing the doctors didn't catch it in between rounds because they could have stopped it for a cut being bad, but a doctor stopped it. But I guess they just let him thug it out.
Couldn't Herb Dean have stopped it?
You don't typically see refs stop it for a cut. That's usually a doctor's discretion.
Right, but the cut wasn't. Okay, let me take that back. When it started out, it wasn't that bad. Then she went back to her corner, and they were like shoving Vaseline in it, and you can see that it was getting worse. And then by the end of that last round, it was fucking awful. But like, Herb Dean should have looked at that and been like, this bitch can't even see. Like, this is not a fair fight. She lost anyway. Just fucking tell her to, like, go home. You're not going to win the fight anyway. What's the point?
If it's like a cut, it's either the doctor or the coroner. The ref can't stop it. Refs stop it or like damages, like if somebody's getting beat up and they're not defending themselves. That's the only time really a ref can stop it if they're not defending themselves from strikes and stuff, or if they're just knocked out.
I think he should have had the power to stop that fight with it, protect her from herself. Like, it's like referees in the NFL, motherfuckers will get concussed and try to get back out on the field, pick their helmet up, and referees are like, "No, man, you need to go see the doctor. Like you look fucked up." They should have just as much autonomy as any other referee to just be like, "Yeah, I know you're saying you want to keep going, but that cut is fucked up. Like that could be really bad. It could get infected. Like that shit was to her skull."
The referees they can pause it and then tell the judges. I mean, tell the doctor to look at it. I don't think he did
He should have
that.
did.
Like he
He
could have
should have
did
did
that,
that. Yeah, he
and
should have
then the
did that.
doctor.
There's no way. Everybody in that building and everybody watching saw what was happening in that woman's face. And the more she kept wiping it off, the more fucking blood. Like, she wipe it off and reach out and touch old girl, and old girl be covered in blood. Like, at one point, they grabbed each other, and the chick's back was just covered in blood from her face just leaking everywhere. Also, like, how safe is it to keep fighting when you've lost that much blood?
I mean, you can very well pass out from losing too much blood, but it varies from person to person. But yeah, if he
Your
didn't pause it,
adrenaline's going.
yeah. If he didn't pause it, and I got to go back and watch it because I was probably multitasking. But if he didn't pause it, yeah, that's on him. For he should have paused it to let the doctors take a look at that.
I'm going to say he didn't just because I was watching it and I'm like, I kept saying to my girlfriend, like, they should stop this fucking fight. And every time they would zoom in on, I'm like, there's no way they're letting this go. But I was also drunk, so maybe he did. I don't know. I don't think he did. But I also
No.
hadn't like, I'm not in the UFC Twitter like I am wrestling Twitter, so I don't know if there was a lot of scuttlebutt online about how they should have stopped that fight or not.
I need to go on Twitter more. I need to tweet more from the Haymaker account. I wasn't really on Twitter during it. I'm sure it's people complaining about it or like, man, that's pretty bad. But it's TKO now. Synergy between both companies. They're letting the color fly between WWE and the UFC. So
You got to protect these people. And then the conversation with my girlfriend went to, because she was under the assumption, well, she makes a shitload of money, like she'll be all right. And I'm like, actually, they don't make as much money as you think they do. They probably get paid a little bit more than they did a couple years ago, but especially on the prelim and women, like
yeah,
after she pays all her fucking taxes and corner and trainers and all that shit, she might walk away with like 20 grand from this. And then
maybe.
she got online, started looking it up, and she's like, well, UFC pays all their medical bills that are incurred in the fight. I'm like, that's great. But for $20,000, she's walking around looking like fucking Two-Face now.
Yeah, they probably paid her 50 to show and then 50 to win, but she didn't win. So, like you said, after you have to pay all those people, so she probably and you got to pay your taxes. You're probably walking away with like 20 something. But that's why I guess you got to fight multi times a year just to probably make a six-figure salary in the UFC.
And that was the other thing me and her talked about, when she started talking about the money, she's like, well, if she makes 20 grand to fight, like she can just fight a couple. And I'm like, they're not going to let her fight again for a while. Like, look at her face. And then if you get a concussion, you're in concussion protocol, or you get an injury. Like, you can't just fight like, it's not pro. I was trying to tell her, like, it ain't pro wrestling. Like, these motherfuckers are like trying to kill each other for real.
Yeah.
Like, they really get fucked up. They can't just go out and rest and fight 3 nights a week like wrestlers do.
Yeah, if you're lucky and healthy, you get 3 fights a year. But it's showing up is only half the battle. You got to win to get double paid.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a rough sport. It's not for the faint of heart.
I mean, I like the idea of winning, getting more money, but I just feel like for what they do and for how much TKO and UFC makes, like at the very least, they should be paying these guys like 100. The worst fighters, the lowest fighters on the card, should be 50 grand. It shouldn't be like anybody fighting on a pay per view, whether prelim or not. Like you should be making way more after you pay everybody else. You should at least have $50,000. Everybody's not Conor McGregor. Everybody's not like the big names in the UFC that are going to get a couple 100,000 to $1 million. But like I'm out there fighting in a cage with another motherfucker fighting in a cage for our living. The least we could do is fucking get me 50 grand after everything's over with.
Like you said, TKO has money out the wazoo, but it goes back to about 10, 12 years ago, once they went to Fox, the UFC roster got too bloated, and they have to put all these cards on per year, so they have to get these low-level fighters that maybe only have 1 or 2 fights in UFC whose name you don't know. So just because their roster's so big, they can't pay as much. Well, technically they can't pay as much. Somebody broke down the math that they could, but I'm sure it's expenses that we don't know behind the scene that they incur, and it's all about keeping the fat cats rich. But yeah, the roster's too bloated. I like the back in the day when you knew all the fighters and you had less cards per year. And I'm sure if they went back to that model, which they won't because they're getting paid by so much by ESPN, you can pay the fighters more if you have a smaller roster.
I hear you, but if you have a smaller roster, you'll be making less money. So they'll use that as an excuse. I mean, yeah, you're a business owner, you have expenses that other people don't think about, but they bought the UFC for $11 billion. Like, they got money to pay these people.
According to Dana, they don't. We know that's bullshit. But yeah, I mean,
he's fucking blowing it all on coke and hookers.
That's true. But they got their money up front, so it's not like they're making less money with a smaller roster because ESPN pays them all right, you put these amount of events on the air and we give you a set amount. But then it's like the chicken or the egg theory, I guess. But even though you're getting the money up front, now you gotta find fighters to put up fill out all these cards that you have this guaranteed money for. So,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know too much about the inner workings of mixed martial arts and shit like that. Like, I'm a casual fan, but I don't know. I just feel like as many of these things as I've watched where people just get brutalized and they're literally in a cage, and you got a guy like CM Punk walking in making more money than what that woman probably made, like, to get his ass kicked in 2 minutes just because he's a name. I don't know.
Yeah,
Doesn't really sit well with me.
WWE roster is much smaller than the UFC roster, so that's why
No, I'm saying when Punk went to UFC.
Oh yeah, that's both. That was just because he had, like you said, that's because he had a name. He was getting paid like $500,000 a fight, which is crazy.
Now Brock went to UFC, but Brock had fighting background. Like, he was an amateur wrestler, and yeah. Lashley, he started at the bottom, so he didn't even go to UFC. He probably could have, though.
He was in Bellator, which is, you got people in Bellator that could easily fight in the UFC. Lashley was pretty good. I think he only lost like once, maybe twice at the most.
I remember 12, 15, 16 years ago, I used to watch. Was Bellator the one that was on Showtime all the time with Gina Carano?
Or that was Strikeforce.
Yeah, I used to watch Strikeforce all the time. I was a real big Gina Carano fan. And that's when I was real big into the women fights back then. Like, I was watching Gina Carano way before I heard about Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, Gina Carano was that girl. Yeah, that's ironic because Strikeforce was on Showtime. Bellator eventually went to Showtime like 10 years later. But yeah, Gina Carano, I remember that fight got hyped up between her and Cyborg, and then Cyborg just beat the piss out of her. And then
dog shit.
And then Carano Carano just disappeared after that. And now she's
showed up on what's the
Mandalorian
show?
And then she's a Trumper, and they got her the fuck out of there.
Yeah, she got kicked out of that because she's crazy Trumpy.
So yeah, man, that's
how about this motherfucker? They trying to take his ass out, ain't they?
Yeah,
politics. We just talking regular news. Like, what are y'all doing? Y'all
like if I was
shooting a fucking presidential candidate,
former president. If I was him, like, I'd be like, man, I don't need this. Like, what? I just need to go home and sit. If this is even in office and they trying to do this, like, if I'm 80, like, that's retirement time. Why are you trying to run the country? They did the same thing.
Yeah.
What's that?
He's already rich. So that's the problem with when they say rich people do weird shit. Like, I look at it like, if I had money Trump did, yeah, really. If I had money Trump has, like, I'm not trying to be president. I don't give a fuck about what y'all are doing. Like, I'm rich as shit. I'm just gonna enjoy my life now. And these people want to go out and, like, take over shit. Like, go sit your old ass down. They trying to kill you, dog.
Yeah, like, I'm going taking my money and just enjoying the rest of my 10 years or so left on the planet.
Hey,
and then, like,
at the golf course, EJ.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, and then like I'm like I said, we're not a political show, but then the same people six months ago that are saying that Biden was too old. You don't hear that narrative, even when they're like 2 years apart. Where's that narrative now? How come people ain't saying he's too old?
They all too old. I've
Yeah.
been saying that shit. Like we need somebody. If your age starts with a 6, you're too old. We need somebody that's there, that's been through some shit. We need a president that had a fucking MySpace, but that can still operate Instagram and TikTok. That's what we need. We need somebody in our generation to be president. Somebody that's in touch with fucking the older like we're right in the middle. We were there before social media, now we're here in the middle of it. We need somebody a little younger that's got empathy and still knows you got to be stern about stuff. Not somebody that's just like fuck everybody. We're doing this for the 1%, or
Yeah.
let everybody in. We don't give a fuck. Just
Yeah,
country.
people present younger now. I'll take 65 at the most. I won't just write you off if it's 60. If
Yeah,
you
but
got some
it's a 4-year
65.
term.
I'm just saying, like you should be 65 coming up to the end of your term or so, or at least your. I get what you're saying, but 70s is definitely too
Yeah,
damn
because
old.
I feel like 50s is the cut, like 60s the cutoff. They can't run for president until they're 35. I feel like 35 to 60. That's your window. You got a 25-year window to win the president if that's what you want to do with your life. Because you're probably gonna be there 8 years. Not a lot of presidents end up only staying for 4 years.
Mhm.
So if you start out in that motherfucker and you're 62, that means you're gonna end up being 70 when you leave.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like 62, I'll give 62 because if you're 70 now, it's time. If you're sharp with it, like not all 60-year-olds are built alike. If you sharp with it, but yeah, I agree. Like you should be in your like at least 50s. Cause I don't know, there's some dumb motherfuckers that are still in their late 30s, early 40s that I don't know if you should be running the country.
These motherfuckers can't even drive after 7 o'clock, EJ. They can run the country.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't mind early 60s, but 50s like is a nice medium. And you got some experience, but you're not old as fuck.
Yeah. And not to be racist or anything, but like, let's get some other people in there besides just white people all the time.
Well, it's only happened once in the history of the country.
Not that I'm a Kamala fan, but let's get some people that aren't just fucking men in there all the time. Like, we've been doing the same fucking thing over and over and over. Like, it's time to evolve.
It is. Well, we'll see what happens, but
I think
politics.
the only way a woman will win is probably just a white woman.
Well, they had the shot and it didn't work out. It's 2016.
Yeah, but that wasn't a white woman to do it though. We need motherfucking Caitlin Clark or somebody to run for that shit.
I don't know, man. I think it's a yeah, she win it with flying colors. But
We need Hillary Duff in that motherfucker. That's what we need.
I think it.
She got my vote.
I don't know.
I
I think it's gonna be close this November, so we might be seeing history. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think you're right. So I don't think it's going to be a landslide like everybody thinks, but it is what it is. On November 6th, I still got to go to work the next day. So.
Yeah. So just go out there and vote. No matter who you vote for, it's important to vote.
EJ, what'd you do this weekend?
Man, I did a whole lot of nothing, man. Just football, and then Sunday I took on the task of doing the whole brisket. It's been a while since like a year or two since I did a whole brisket. More than a year, like 2 years or 3 years since I've done a whole brisket because it just takes it's an all day process. And it turned out well. I mean, it was like a 8-9 hour process. Oof. I didn't post it on IG. I think I posted it on my Snapchat story. I know you're on Snapchat. I posted a little bit of the early process of it. Yeah, it's like, huh?
How is Snapchat? I don't do Snapchat. How is that now? That's still a thing?
Yeah, it's like it's still pretty booming. That's how Me and my girl, that's how we mostly communicate through Snapchat. But yeah, I go to Snapchat because none of my family's on there, and sometimes I don't like my family being nosy, so I'll just post to my Snapchat so I'm with my friends because all my family and friends are on Facebook, which is connected to IG. So like, I don't want y'all seeing everything just to be nosy. So I'll just go to Snapchat if I want to do a quick story real quick.
What you using to smoke? Are you using pellets? Are you using
What
regular coal, fire, wood?
coal and wood, offset smoker, charcoal.
That seems like such a fucking task, though. You gotta just keep. I've never done it with coal and wood, right? So
Mhm.
you gotta keep adding fucking coal to it throughout the day. You just fucking set it and forget it.
It's not. Yeah, I know it's easier just to set it and forget it if you got like the pellet smoker, but yeah, you just keep adding. It's not once you get the fire started, it's not as daunting as it because like every like 20 to 30 minutes, you might have to add another log. It's like a it's like a lifestyle. People call it like the smoking lifestyle because you just go out there, sit out there with a couple bourbon, listen to some music. Every 30 minutes or so, add another log to it. Just make sure it doesn't get too hot, doesn't get too low. In the 200 range is where you want to have it.
So you
Yeah.
got a temp gauge on there?
Yeah, I got a temp gauge on there. If it gets too
Yeah, I've never.
hot, lift the handle up, let some heat out. If it gets too low, add another log on, and how it goes for the day.
God, it's so much goddamn work, man. I just, I just like the electric smoker. I can just set the fucking temperature where I want to set it at. Put my little wood,
But it
put my little
tastes so
flavor wood
good.
at the bottom.
That smoky wood charcoal flavor. That shit tastes so good though.
I hear you, but the electric briskets that I made too were really fucking good.
Yeah, yeah. Different strokes for different folks is what they say. But that's how I
Yeah,
spent my Sunday. What about you, man? What you do this past
I'm
weekend
lazy.
besides UFC?
That's why. Uh, we went to an escape room at the
Oh
Battery.
yeah, I seen you
Yeah,
like
that was.
2 weeks
Uh,
ago. I remember you posted, but I seen you like 2 weeks ago. I guess that's what was this past weekend.
yeah, it's this weekend. We needed one more puzzle to solve to get out. We needed about 10 more minutes, and we didn't have it. It was me, my girlfriend, and my daughter, and we were teamed up with these two little white teenage kids. They were no fucking help, bro. Bro, this is so crazy, bro. Like,
That's it.
um, yeah, it was just five of us, and it was a so we wanted to do an easier one, but the time didn't work out for what we wanted to do that day. So we had to do one that was a 9 out of a 10 in difficulty. And I ain't gonna lie, your boy was getting a lot of the stuff right. It was taking
Nice.
me a minute, um but yeah, it was fun to see my daughter like trying to critical think and come out of her shell a little bit 'cause she gets really awkward around strangers and people she
Mhm.
don't know and shit like that. Like we went to Hot Topic afterwards and she's like, I really want this hat, but I want it in black. And I'm like, well, go ask the lady. She's like, can you ask it for me? I'm like, no, you can go ask the lady. And so I walked her over there to the lady and I'm like, she's got something to ask you. She's like, Dad. I'm like, just fucking talk to her. But we walk in and the same girl is like dressed like a fucking cat and she's got crazy eyeliner on and crazy outfit. My daughter's like, I love your outfit. So she talked to her for that, but then didn't want to go ask her. You know, kids are strange now, man. But just trying to get her out of her shell a little bit, get her to think a little bit, not just sit in the house all the time. But
Mm.
she's a little bit more social than what she was. I think all the activities I'm doing with her when she comes over is helping her out a little bit. My son doesn't like leave the fucking house, so it's just like, all right, we'll be
Eh,
back.
Yeah, like you said, you had teenagers with you at the escape room. If you would have had two adults, y'all would have had it. Cause I went with four adults, including me, and we did the hardest one. But we went with the other couple we was with. They were like, they go to escape rooms all the time. So, and we got out. We had like 10 minutes left, and we got out. I'm not gonna be like I did all the work, but I helped a little bit. But like I
Yeah,
said, we went with a little expert couple. So
it's
yes,
fun,
sir.
man. It's sometimes they got to give you a clue, and then they give you the clue, and you're like, duh.
Yeah.
Clearly, like they had, we were trying to escape a prison, and the one guy that escaped, on the video, he left his little booklet, and it said something like, "If people could see through these walls, they would know how we're gonna get out of here." and the answers are in the pipes or something like that. And I kept looking at the pipes. I'm like, something's in the pipes, and I unscrewed them, and I'm looking inside, and there's nothing in there. They finally gave us the clue because we had to dial a number on the phone. You had to go to each side of the cells, look the other way through the pipes, and there was a number written on the fucking wall right there. And it was a combination for the phone that opened up the door to get to the next room or whatever. And I was like, I fucking knew it was something with the pipes, but looking back, it's like, duh, they fucking told us. Look through the wall, and the answer's in the pipes. But I don't know. It was fun. It's fun to be up against the clock and have a little bit of pressure on you. You're trying to solve shit. And it didn't
Yeah,
cost
man.
much. It was $40, I think, per person, maybe. Not even that much, I don't think.
That's not bad. Like you said, it's good to flex that muscle that is your brain and get out the house and do a little critical thinking.
And it was at the Battery, which is like uh it's like a little city or a little
Mhm.
town surrounding the Braves Stadium, and the Braves are playing the Dodgers that week. So like we got there a little early, we went to the Punch Bowl social, and we grabbed a drink, and my daughter got like a Sprite and some fries while all the Dodgers fans were walking around before the Braves kicked their ass. Uh, so yeah, it was a fun little Saturday.
That's what's up, man. I guess you just spent Sunday watching football.
I watched I watched football till about 4 o'clock, and I didn't want to see that shit no more.
Damn.
Boy, it's one thing for your team to lose, but when they get their ass absolutely dominated and destroyed, you don't even want to see nothing else. You're like, that's one of those games where you just feel like we're not gonna win another fucking game. But it's week to week, so like they'll come out next week and probably beat Baltimore, and it'll be fine.
Can't put that one on Dak though. I don't know what was going on with the defense. And
Yeah, that's kind of like the playoff game. They'll get into it, and the offense won't be clicking, but it won't be Dak's fault. It'll just be the offense ain't clicking. Like he was playing well. People were dropping passes, missing blocks, and then he'll get to the point where he'll just start forcing shit, and that's when the interceptions start. And people are like, "See, shouldn't have paid him that much." I'm like, "This nigga ain't missed one tackle." Matter of fact, he made a pretty damn good tackle on the interception he threw.
yeah, man. Yeah, or maybe Derek Carr is just that guy to see. I mean, put up numbers. It was against the Panthers, albeit, but
Yeah, but he fucking put work on Dallas.
yeah. But I see like even when he's with the Raiders, he'll start off hot and then he'll like at the middle of the season, he'll be like, I forgot I'm Derek Carr, and then start kind
Yeah,
of like
he, he's
dwindling off.
he's a good quarterback, but like their receivers aren't like they got Chris Olave, but he really didn't do anything. Here's the thing I've always wondered with Dallas and the rest of the NFL.
Mhm.
Dallas has playmakers all over defense, and they got playmakers on offense. But it seems like whenever they play people, like Derek Carr right now looks good, but he's throwing the motherfuckers that are wide open. Like, where's the scheme at for Dallas to get people wide open? Because they had to work so hard for every fucking yard. And then you look up and Derek Carr's throwing 70-yard bombs to a guy way behind the defense. Like every third down, somebody's wide open. But when Dallas has the ball, Dak's having to fit it into these tight windows and they're having to make contested catches. And it's like, how come over the offseason no coaches are just like, we should do on offense? We should do the same shit these motherfuckers doing over here where everybody's wide open.
Isn't
Like,
isn't McCarthy still calling plays?
yeah.
But then you gotta ask him. He's supposed to be the quote unquote genius.
Yeah. I don't know. It's week 2. If this was like week 9 or 10 and they were hovering around 500 and they took an ass whooping like this, I'd be worried, but I think that was just one of them ass whoopings you kind of need at the beginning of the year.
Gotta buckle your helmets and you got a tough task against Lamar Jackson, even though they're 0-2 too. So
Yeah.
it's a critical game for both teams.
But the one thing they do well is the one thing that we don't stop, and it's running the fucking football.
Yeah, big Derrick Henry.
I had to play against Alvin Kamara in my fucking fantasy
Damn.
this week, and I'm like, Of course he's going off at 4 touchdowns.
That's hate to see that happen.
I scored 140 points, and the guy I played scored 170, and Kamara had 45.
It's crazy. Be like that sometimes, but
Yeah.
new week coming up, so time to refresh.
Yeah, hopefully Dallas will make a comeback to what they look like in week 1. But speaking of comebacks, EJ, let's get into some wrestling. The Tribal Chief came back this Friday.
Yes, sir.
And he wasn't even promoted. He was actually taken off the promotion list to come back as Cody Rhodes fought Solo Sikoa in a steel cage match for the WWE Undisputed Championship. Got the win. The Bloodline said, yeah, you might have won. We still about to beat that ass. And then here comes Roman to that new sorry ass music. Clears house.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I don't get.
What's that?
This was some Wednesday night shit that I saw on Friday.
What?
Cody says, I'm done with the Bloodline. I'm not fucking teaming up Roman Reigns. I beat Solo. Nick Aldis. You take that contract and get that shit to somebody else. I'm not signing that. And then 30 minutes later, he walks his little blonde haired ass out there and signs the contract.
Well,
for no reason.
No, it was a reason.
What was the reason?
He's just too prideful. Roman said, "This is my WWE," and he was like, "Hell, it is Amazon WrestleMania." So it was a pissing contest between the both of them to find out whose WWE it is.
Cody's not gonna win that contest though. Cody's the guy. Cody's big baby face on. Cody's not Roman Reigns. He's not in the same. I know he's wrestled him twice. He beat him this year at WrestleMania, but now that they took Roman's heel aura away from him, and he's like damn near babyface again, like Cody's not gonna win that.
He's not, but they're trying to prop him up there like he is, and like you said, I'm glad that they didn't try to make him the big dog again. He's just the same Roman Reigns, except the fans are cheering. He's still talking his talk. I dug it.
Said, this is my WWE. Cody said, excuse me? What the hell have you been in the last 4 months? Well, I've been fighting Kevin Owens and LA Knight and AJ Styles, Solo. How
man.
Talk about this is your WWE.
But Roman wasn't wrong though. Look at it. Look at the metrics and so to speak. Once he comes back, the needle was always moved. Like that was a really fucking good episode of SmackDown. I'm like, what are they doing different that they haven't done the past week? Why is this SmackDown hitting so much? And it's just one common denominator. It's just Roman coming back that made it lit.
Roman was in 3 segments.
Yeah, so that's why it was so good.
And you had that banger of a match with Carmelo and Andrade.
Yeah, they always tear it down. That was the cherry on top of the ice cream, so to speak.
Had the Nia Jax and Bayley and Naomi and Tiffy time. That was pretty good. What else happened on SmackDown?
I know
contract stuff.
Yeah. LA Knight came out to challenge the winner. I guess Andrade. It's gonna be him and Andrade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice. An episode of SmackDown. But so the Tribal Chief returns. He and Cody are going to take on Solo and Jacob Fatu. I'll tell you what.
Mm-hmm.
That was in 2014, I think, when it was. The Shield was a heel faction, and the Wyatts were a heel faction, and they were both like destroying other people. And then they crossed paths by accident one time, and there was a standoff with them where the Shield was on one side of the ring and the Wyatts on the other. And I remember just being like, holy shit. Like, nobody touched. They didn't fucking touch. They just fucking squared off. And I was just like, I can't wait for these motherfuckers to fight.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt when Roman looked at Jacob Fatu and was like, get in the fucking ring. And when Jacob got in, I was like, is this what's about to go down? We about to get this on free TV? So I'm excited about seeing them fight at Bad Blood. I know they're not fighting 1-on-1, but Jacob might fucking surpass Solo. Like Solo better watch out.
In what aspect though? Like you think he might storyline? He might supplant him as the head of
I
the
mean,
bloodline, or
he's just better than Solo. And,
oh,
and that's no fault to Solo. Like Jacob's been doing this shit for 10 years. Solo's kind of brand new. That's no fault of his, but Jacob just he commands more of a reaction from the fans than Solo does. Solo's like a forced reaction.
I mean, he's miles ahead of him as far as in ring goes. He's MLW champion for all. Like you said, he's been doing this for a long time.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, they kind of built Solo up to be like the menacing person, like Jacob is. But I guess he didn't really back it up in the ring like that. When he first came in, he wasn't. He was like that enforcer guy. He wasn't losing at all until some reason they just started making him lose around. I guess a little bit after WrestleMania 39, he was just losing a lot after that. I think that's where they messed up as far as like his little aura that he had. But then, like you said, you like take Jacob Fatu and then put what you were doing with Solo on steroids because he could back it up in the ring. He just has that aura right now.
I mean, look at how WWE's treating Jacob. They faked an injury with him so he wouldn't come in contact with Roman when Roman came back. If you look at what happened on SmackDown, when Roman came into the cage, Jacob climbed out of the cage and like came back around and they teased them fighting each other. Roman beat Solo's ass like every time he's come back.
Yeah.
So WWE's even telling you like this is way more of a special fucking showdown than Solo and Roman.
Yeah. I mean, they gave Solo the ball when he was an enforcer, and I feel like they probably felt that he had his limitations and they kind of dialed it back and bring in Jacob and they see that he could go and you back it up. So, it is what it is.
But yeah, you get this match at Bad Blood, the tag team match, which I'm excited for. Bad Blood's turned out to be a really good pay-per-view because that CM Punk and Drew McIntyre Hell in a Cell match. That shit's gonna go. Woo!
And how do you figure that? Just by Punk's promo.
You know, I ain't gonna lie, like I kinda like Punk the last couple weeks since he's been back.
Really?
Yeah. He's got a little different look. He's put on a little bulk. He ain't so damn whiny and crying and annoying. He just came out last night like, I'm gonna fuck you up. That's basically what he said. We get in that cage, I'm gonna fuck you up. And the only way you can stop me from fucking you up is you're gonna have to fuck me up. And I'm willing to get fucked up. But I'm gonna fuck you up. My wife told me not to do this. I told her I gotta fuck you up. I loved it.
That's one half of the puzzle. I gotta hear Drew's rebuttal so I can get fully hyped for it.
You already know my boy Drew gonna come with some fire next week.
Yeah. And by the way, how spicy they're talking, we're gonna get some color in there. They've been doing a little bit more color this whole year since the TKO merger. I guess like they can't be hypocritical, and we got motherfuckers bleeding all over the place in UFC, and y'all can't do it. So, like you said, this Hell in a Cell should be pretty brutal.
I'm not a big blood guy. I don't need blood for a blood feud.
I need blood. I don't need it. AEW does it a lot more frequent, but I need it so it's more believable. If I'm getting hit, if I'm getting thrown in the cage, if you try to make it simulate real life, and you gotta bleed a little bit if you're getting thrown in the cage or hit with objects and stuff. So I don't need it all the time, but I need it on special occasion. Like I grew up playing the video games where people got busted open and whatnot.
I could like the blood Cody had on SmackDown. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like just a little bit of blood, but I don't need it like staining the fucking mat and You know how Ric Flair and Dusty and even
Right.
Cody used to do because they all had bleach blonde. Like, I don't need that. I don't need to be grossed out. Like, I get it. Y'all don't like each other. Motherfucker clocked you in the head. Now you're bleeding. But as far as like blood all over both competitors and shit, like, I don't need
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What Cody did with the cage, that's fine. I
Yeah.
don't know if WWE's using real blood, but even if they're not, man, that amount that they did is fine.
Motherfucker gets busted open the hard way, fine. I know it's not like if you go look at Rock and Austin at WrestleMania 17, like they both bladed, right? But that
Yeah.
was the perfect amount of blading. Like it was enough blood to show that they were bleeding, but it wasn't enough to like distract me from the match. Because after a while, it's like, God damn, that's a lot of fucking blood. Like you start worrying about people.
Yeah, I don't know. Uh, I'm guessing it's a technique to it, but at the end of the day, you're still cutting yourself. You can't really control because, like, it was recent. Somebody hit a gusher. I don't know if it was AEW. Somebody was like bleeding a profuse amount. I'm like, all right, they did it the wrong way. It was definitely AEW, but I can't remember who it was.
Motherfucker, motherfucker hit an artery.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was. It was early in the year,
Probably
maybe
Moxley.
maybe like yeah. He's always bleeding. It was maybe around the Revolution time, but either way, like you said, if you're gonna do it, then you just get a little bit of color. You don't have to be leaking all over the place and about to pass out from the blood loss.
Yeah. Speaking of AEW, we're jumping around a little bit, but rumor and innuendo, as Conrad would say, uh, they've got a TV deal about to be inked for 4 years, about 170 to $200 million a year with Warner Brothers. No streaming though, is what's been reported. So they'll be on True TV, TBS, TNT, and there's another channel that they had. So AEW, even
TBS.
though TBS, TNT, True TV, and one more. I don't remember what the fourth one was. But we've all been watching AEW's dwindling numbers and the ratings and attendance. For example, tomorrow night they're going to be at Arthur Ashe State. Is it tomorrow?
Yeah.
It's next week.
No, it's the next week.
Next week they're going to be at Arthur Ashe. They went from over 20,000 people being there to only about 5,000. So we watched their numbers go down, but they still get a $200 million a year deal for programming. So you can say what you want, but they
I
getting checked.
mean, live content is king. I mean, even though like 2 years ago they popped like a million every now and then, and I think right now they settle in like 650, 750, 800 if they're lucky. But if you look at all the other things that are on TV, like they're still doing way better than all the other stuff. So live content is king. So I'm not surprised by the deal. But I don't want to hear
But what
what's
are
that?
you putting it up against when you say live content? Because if you're putting them up against 20-year-old Law and Order episodes, yeah, they're doing better than that. But are they doing better than like Dancing with the Stars and The Bachelor and shit like that?
Well, those are on network TV, so that's free. So, but you put it up against other cable TV shows, and they're blowing those out of the water, and that's the metrics that they rate them against. So,
Yeah, but the only live TV that's on cable TV are sporting events, and they're nowhere close to like NBA, NFL, tennis, golf, hockey.
um, I'd have to check those numbers because I think like random regular season games aren't like pulling like 3, 4 million. They're like in the million range. So, like they're doing well.
In
Like they
NBA or the NFL? Because the NFL is getting
oh
millions.
NFL is like all of this. All of they are on network besides like the ESPN Monday Night Football. Like all of those are on network TV though. But yeah, they're not. Nobody's beating NFL. I'm saying NBA hockey, like regular season games. They do solid numbers, but like well, they're obviously they wouldn't be getting paid unless like the TNT or the WBD or however you pronounce it saw that it's worth the investment, or they wouldn't get the deal. So hats
Well,
off
I'm
to
happy about it. I don't care about the money. I'm just happy that the contract didn't run out and they won't be taken off of TV because it's better when there's more options to watch. AEW hasn't been the best the last year or so, but I got a feeling they can turn it around. companies go through ebbs and flows, man. WWE was fucking shit like 10 years ago. Like, I was hate watching WWE. I was watching it because I've been watching wrestling my whole life, and that was the only wrestling on. So I didn't want to give it up. But it wasn't good. And so, they'll come around. They'll
Yeah.
find their fucking stride, and next thing you know, they'll be way better than what they are now. You just gotta be patient. But it feels like about 1 million people weren't patient, and they fucking left.
Well, I don't like that. I don't even know if these reports are true. I don't like that it's not a streaming option on it because I feel like that's the wave of the future. So, like people want to watch old shows and there's no way to watch them. So why wouldn't they want to put that on like Max or something like that? But maybe sometimes people get reports wrong. So I'm hoping there is some type of streaming element to it.
Tony needs to do what Vince did and come out with the AEW network.
Yeah, maybe that's the way to kickstart because eventually once they did WWE Network for 5, 6 years, they went and consolidated with Peacock. So maybe they just need to launch on their own, like you said.
He's got enough content that how have they not thought about? I pay the WWE Network was $9.99 at the beginning. All right,
Mhm.
AEW is not WWE, so we'll say $5 a month. You don't think there's 1 million people out there that will pay $5 a month? You have the whole ROH library, you have the whole AEW library, and you'll have live pay-per-views and stuff like that on there. You don't think you could get 1 million people to pay $5 a month for that? That's $5 million a month on top of your TV deal. That's
I'm
way more than you make for charging people $50 to watch a pay-per-view because you don't get that many buys.
yeah, I mean, like you said, it's $50 per pay-per-view, and they can't be getting more than 100,000 buys per pay-per-view. I'm not a mathematician, so whatever that math is, like you said, it'd be more just doing it. Like you said, if you use $5 a month, I think they could do a $7.99 per month, and people will do it.
I mean, the startup cost and the infrastructure is going to be something, but I mean, you just got $200 million a year from fucking Warner Brothers. Like, I don't understand this. Like, make your own network. You got all this programming you can put on there. All the old episodes. Dynamite's been on for 5 years now. You got all these pay-per-views you could put on. You got All In. Like I said, you got the whole ROH library is owned by Tony Khan now. He can go buy some shit in Japan if he wants to.
Yeah.
Go buy the fucking NWA.
So if like I said, hypothetically, if they are doing 100,000, that's on the higher end for each pay-per-view. That is $5 million. But
Yeah.
like I said, why don't you do $7.99? And like you said, you come out more than that if you put all the live stuff. If you get 7 million, I mean
$8
1
million a month.
Yeah, exactly. So do something like that, and then the subscribers are just going to keep increasing. So just keep getting more
Right.
money. You be making more than what you would with 50. And like I said, that's being generous, giving them 100,000 buys.
Tony Khan loves fucking social media and shit like that. Instead of putting those press conferences on YouTube, put them on your streaming service. Do
Yeah,
pre-shows on the streaming service.
yeah. I mean, even though he's a weird guy, he's not a dummy. So I'm sure they've done studies on if it's you know profitable to do this.
We say he's not a dummy, but he keeps doing the same shit, and his business is not. I can't say they're not doing well because they just got $200 million a year contract, which I've never done before. But like the interest in their company is severely not what it was 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, and he keeps doing the same shit. So we say he's not a dummy, but he's doing dumb shit.
I mean, this guy got to have some smart. I think he's just a stubborn guy. But you're in a business, you can't be stubborn, or you might see your business kind of suffer a little bit. So
Yeah, you can't
I'm,
have your feelings involved with money.
yeah, I'm hoping that they got that part of the story wrong and they have some type of streaming element to go with this deal. Because, like you said, the library is just too big for you not to have something up where people can go back and look at it. Like you said, they got ROH too, so that's another element to it.
The two biggest things that I think they've lost money on, well, I shouldn't say biggest, but just to me, the fact that they haven't, first off, that All In DVD was absolute trash. It sucked. The quality of it was bad. I know they didn't put a lot of money in the All In. The fact that that DVD didn't come with any kind of like behind the scenes stuff on it, the making of, like watching Cody and the Bucks produce and shit like that. How did nobody film all that? How is there no extras on that? And to top that off, why have we not got a special from Revolution this year with Sting's last match? I've seen so much shit behind the scenes, like on social media and stuff like that. All the stuff they did. The morning of Revolution, they posted a thing where all these wrestlers and Sting's family members and all these people like left voicemails for him, and he sat there listening to them for like 30 minutes. And I sat there listening to it. I was laying in bed, put my fucking beats in, was listening to it so I didn't wake my girlfriend up. You telling me there's no behind the scenes stuff from Revolution this year? Sting's last match? Stuff with like him and Ric Flair and all the other people, Dustin Rhodes and the Big Show, all these guys that he's been in the ring with, connected with AEW for so long, younger guys that like grew up watching Sting. You telling me there's no extra footage from that show? They gotta think, man.
I mean, I guess they could, sometimes they do like random TV specials after Dynamite or Collision. I mean, maybe they don't have a place where it can really air it. They can release it as a DVD, but who's really buying DVDs? I feel like if they were on a network, they could, or they could just do that on YouTube, like release that on YouTube. That would have been cool.
But if you put that on the DVD, people will buy it.
Is that how WWE usually do they do behind the scenes on the DVD?
They used to until they got the WWE Network.
Yeah, so
Now that you got the network, you got those WrestleMania 24. I fucking love those things where they pick like 4 or 5 wrestlers and follow them around the weekend of WrestleMania. It's fucking do that, Tony Khan.
Yeah, that's a that's a little bit of a cherry on top. I mean, I don't go back and watch those, but like you said, a fan that's if you like a lifelong Sting fan, that's something that they would want to see.
Man, I would fucking love that. I'm sorry. It ain't just me. Last time I checked, Greensboro was fucking sold out. There ain't a lot of people that live in Greensboro that know about Sting. Motherfuckers traveled there from all over the country to go see that. You telling me that shit wouldn't sell? Sting, they came out with an AEW Sting Supreme figure on Walmart, and the shit sold out within 2 minutes. You telling me people don't want to see stuff with Sting, his last match? Stop that. Not you. Tony Khan, stop it.
Is there is there a Revolution DVD? Maybe it is on there. We don't know about it.
I got the All In DVD, and there ain't a goddamn thing on there but All In.
That was in a AEW production. I mean, they took over eventually.
It was released from AEW. Tony Khan released it. When he
know.
bought ROH, because it was a ROH production, when he bought ROH, he got all the rights to All In.
Yeah.
He released that DVD and didn't put a goddamn thing on there with it.
Maybe they didn't. Maybe they, for some reason, they didn't put that footage into circulation, the behind the scenes stuff, which is, a head scratcher. But like, there's no reason that they shouldn't put it on like the Revolution DVD, like the behind the scenes stuff.
If there is a Revolution DVD, I do want to buy it but I don't know if there is. Judgment Day, wreaking havoc. Let's talk about that, and I'll look up whether or not there's a Revolution DVD. What do you think about Judgment Day?
I mean, they were all over the show, the whole show. For some reason, when I turned on Raw, I'm like, oh, we get 2 hours. And Nope, not till October. It's like, damn, man, 3 hours and whole lot of Judgment Day every uh Dom and not Dom and JD and Finn Balor, they put the work on the New Day. I'm like, damn, man, why y'all do my crew New Day like that? Then like they had like, they did like the juxtaposition. He had Rhea go up to Finn and it was like, I'm glad I told Dom to do that. I'm like, it's talking spicy. And then they did it later on in the show with Liv and Damien. Liv was talking her shit. I'm like, all right. And then the end of the show, Dom took the L, but they ended up putting the beats on both of them at the end of the show. So I guess they're foreshadowing into the bad blood. I could see both of them losing that bad blood, though, Liv and Finn. So, that was a good way to heat it up, have them heavily featured on Raw.
All right, you dropped a lot at me right then while I was looking for this Revolution DVD. One, Monday Night Raw was the first time I was ever like, Liv was way more likable than, not Liv, I'm sorry. Rhea was way more likable than Liv last night.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Liv was just annoying last night. And Daddy Dom's gonna do this, and we're gonna do that. I was just like, for the first time in a long time with Liv, I was just like, shut the fuck up.
It's your girl, though.
It is, and that's why it hurts me to say this. And Rhea was just like, I don't know, there was something likable about her. Like her little interactions with Jay, her talking with Damian Priest, like she wasn't, I don't know, that Judgment Day Rhea, I didn't really like. This Rhea, I like. She's a little more vulnerable. She's not fucking trying to be
Thirst trappy?
No, because she still is, but I don't know. It's just not as.
I feel like she's not leaning into it as much, though.
Yeah, she's just kind of like. She's conflicted with how she feels about Jay. She's conflicted with how she feels about the Judgment Day shit. She's trying to help Damien. I don't know. She just seems more vulnerable, which is more, to me, more likable for. Which I know it sounds awful. If somebody hears it, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you like vulnerable women?" Yeah, actually. That was a joke. That was a joke. But yeah, she was more likable last night than Liv was. The stuff with the New Day, I'm really digging this. I don't want them to break up, but I like that like Kofi is very aloof and doesn't understand where he's fucking up, and Woods is just like had it. Like, nigga, what are you doing? You going to get that the LWO and not even fucking telling me? Oh, I'm not good enough. It's just me because Big E ain't here. Like, I don't know. It's a real storyline. You know what I mean? Like, there's people in friendships that really feel like that.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where it goes, but they've been dragging this on for like the better half of this whole year. So I kind of want them to shit or get off the pot. If y'all gonna break them up, and they gotta pull the trigger sometime. But I mean, they keep stringing us along week to week. I know the Odyssey Jones thing kind of probably put a wrench in the plan. So they
I
kind
was
of had to
just
pivot.
about to say, like, we got to give him a little grace because I'm sure they weren't expecting him to be a fucking pervert or
Oh,
whatever he was doing.
I think he was abusing. I never really read into the story as a podcaster, quote unquote. I should probably do my due diligence to see what happened with that. But alleged abuse. I don't know what kind of abuse. So whatever. We're not gonna harp on that. But yeah, so I'm curious to see. It's a shame, man. Like we're just happy that Big E is healthy and able to live a normal life. But that sucks that his career is probably over like that.
AEW Revolution 2024. I just searched on shopaw.com, and the only thing that came up was a picture of Sting that wasn't even at Revolution. It was from what do you call it? Dynamite when they won the tag titles. And then the DVD from 2023 comes up, and I'm reading the description, and there isn't one. It just tells you how long it's going to be to get there, and a picture of the DVD, and it doesn't say anything about extras. Oh wow, it's a triple threat between Jamie Hayter, Saraya, and what's her name, Ruby.
Yeah, just DVDs are so archaic at this point. You just gotta get stuff up on streaming, man. It's probably cheaper because you don't have to print a bunch of physical copies, and you can just throw it up there. So
I will say it says it's a 2-disc set. I mean, I know AEW pay-per-views are long as fuck, but they don't need 2 DVDs for it, right? So you would think there'd be extras.
Maybe. If it wasn't for my PlayStation, I wouldn't even have a DVD player, or my computer too. But if it wasn't those two things, I wouldn't have a DVD player. So yeah, maybe like you said, since it's 2 discs, maybe they have some extra stuff on there.
What were we talking about a second ago? before I interrupted you, I'm sorry.
No, we were just talking about. We're curious to see where the New Day stuff goes, and I was saying like it's unfortunate that Big E's probably career's done, but we're just happy that he's living a functional life. But we've seen miracles happen before. Like we didn't think Brian would come back. We didn't think Saraya. They were like gone for 4 years plus. It's only been 2 years since Big E, so maybe modern medicine 2 years from now. I don't know. I'm not. I'm not like holding my breath or whatnot. But
I mean, yeah, there's been plenty of people. You got Edge.
He was gone 10 years.
Brian, Sting. Nigel McGuinness is back now.
Yeah, he had kind of a different circumstances, but I get what you say.
Wasn't it Shibata?
Yeah, he almost died. He almost died.
So there's been a lot of stuff, but you just want people to live good lives. Like if there's a chance Big E can get hurt or whatever, like I'd rather he didn't come back. Like he got the world title. Good memories. The New Day's been around almost 10 years now. Like, and I'm intrigued by the storyline. I really am. I don't want them to break up. I just want them to, I don't know, maybe be a little more edgy. Maybe turn heel as a tag team. Maybe have that maybe that Lex Luger and Sting vibe where Luger was the heel and Sting was the face and they were tag champs. And like Luger would cheat when Sting would fucking know about it.
Well, what year was this?
This was like 96 Nitro. They were the tag champs. Luger was a part of the Dungeon of Doom, and Sting was fucking with Hogan and Macho Man, and the Dungeon of Doom was trying to kill Hogan. Yet they were still tag team champions. Like, because Sting was like, yeah, cool, Hogan, but this is my fucking guy over here. Like, he don't like you. he don't not like me. He don't like your motherfucking ass.
That's something I have to go back and look. That was before I got into WCW. I didn't get in WCW till like late 97, early 98. This was pre-NWO Hogan?
Yeah, this was Red and Yellow Hogan. The Giant had just came around. Luger was with the Dungeon of Doom, and he was trying to fuck up Hogan, but him and Sting were fucking tag team champions, and they won the titles with Luger using a fucking roll of quarters and punching out one of the Nasty Boys and taking the belts. Or I think it might have been Harlem Heat. I can't remember. It was either the Harlem Heat or the Nasty Boys. And they had the belts for a couple months before they ended up losing it when the NWO came out and Harlem Heat took the belts. So it was right around the time they were tag team champions, right around the time NWO started.
How did
nuanced shit back then.
How did Luger eventually turn back face? Because once I started watching, he was already
NWO made him face. Because Hogan was off TV for a while, and the NWO came out, and Luger, Sting, and Macho Man were the three guys that fucking.
It was Luger at Bash at the Beach, wasn't it?
Yeah, they all had their face painted. That's a fucking
right.
That's a 3-pack WWE Elite that I still haven't got to this day, and I saw it before I started collecting action figures. I saw it at the store, and I thought, damn, that's dope, and I never got it. And now this shit's like over $100.
Shit.
Yeah.
Hey, hindsight is always 2020. They say.
But yeah, I wouldn't mind like Xavier cheating and Kofi being like, bro, I just watched the replay. Like, what the fuck? And
Or
Kofi knew about it the whole time.
yeah, I'd like to see both of them heal. Like you don't have to necessarily break them up, but if they do break up, then just have something good for because you know the route they're going. There be not Kofi, Xavier turning heel. And then like, did they ever tie up the story with the New Testament or whatever, the Final Testament?
I think when Odyssey Jones got fired, they just kind of let it go by the wayside. Just quit talking about it. Now he's fucking with the Miz.
Yeah. So yeah, of course Xavier could pull it off, but I just don't want him to be a lost in the shuffle type heel because you know Kofi Kingston will always be beloved, or maybe like they say that like they swerve us. Maybe it's Kofi that goes heel.
That's what I would love. I would love Kofi to be heel because nobody would see that coming.
Yeah.
But I don't want them to break up. So make the team heel.
Yeah, that's what I'm for. Like they don't have to make us choose one or the other. Just make both of them heel. That'd be dope.
Power rankings, EJ. It's getting late early.
Yes, indeed. I think you're up this week first.
I'm gonna go with your TNT champion.
Really?
That raggedy ass fucking scapegoat mobile.
Yeah.
That is the trashiest looking automobile I've ever seen a wrestler pull up in.
It's kind of comical how maybe that's the point of it to look so raggedy.
Did you see when he left the match that he won and he walked back out? The fucking exhaust was so bad. It was like smoking up the fucking parking lot.
I missed that.
Jack Perry is number 5.
My number 5, TNA had a pay-per-view, the Victory Road. Got your new tag team champions, the System, Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards. They got it off of ABC. I didn't think they were going to get it back, but shocked the hell out of me.
Crowned at TNA this weekend.
Yeah, so the System is my number 5.
At one point, I think they were like 3 for 3 when I was watching that pay-per-view, right? With like new champions, and then Jordan Grace came out and squashed all that shit.
Well, I guess you have to tell me the third one because my number 4 is your new X Division champion, Mike Bailey. He put a hell of a match with Zach Rentz in a good contest back and forth. So that's my number 4. And what was the other title change that I'm probably? The women's champion. Yeah, Spitfire. Yeah,
that's my number 4.
Spitfire. Okay.
Spitfire. That tag team move they did. I had to tweet about that shit when I was watching that Saturday morning. I said they tried to kill this motherfucker.
Yeah. And
but yeah, Spitfire, your new TNA women's knockout. Oh, I'm sorry, your new TNA knockouts tag team champions.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that Alicia Edwards was doing like a kayfabe injury with the neck. She didn't defend it. She Tasha Steele. She let Tasha Steele defend it for her.
Tasha turned on Masha at the end.
Yeah, I saw that.
So we'll see what happens there. Kelly can't come help because she's pregnant. I don't know if you know.
Myron Reed knocked it up. Well, that was Myron Reed.
Killer.
Didn't take no time.
Yes. You hadn't seen her all over Twitter? She's posting baby pictures the other day. Not baby pictures, but
baby
like
bumps.
Stomach. Yeah. And then she started posting DMs that motherfuckers are sending her like, I can't believe you let a black dude knock you up, and you're supposed to be from Portugal and you're sleeping with black dudes.
People are weird. I don't get it. It's 2024.
You know, it would suck to be a woman's wrestler because there ain't no telling the kind of DMs they get.
Yeah, that's the block buttons for. Like, it isn't a setting where, but then they don't want to mess up like business opportunities where nobody could DM you. But I'm sure they don't want to mess up business opportunities.
I guess if it's that business, like they should be able to contact you a different way than fucking
Twitter.
DM
Yeah.
you on Twitter and Instagram. But yeah, so fuck the haters. Shout out to Killer Kelly. She's like, I think she's like halfway there now. That's why she hasn't been wrestling. People have been asking about her, and she finally came out, and we'll talk about it later.
Hey, shout out to Myron Reed, like I said.
Yeah, he's on the power rankings this week. He didn't even wrestle. um, my number 3 is Judgment Day. Defended the tag team titles against the New Day. All over Monday Night Raw, like you said. Finn Balor's just talking his shit. I'm with it.
My number 3 put on a hell of a match with Bianca Belair. I got Io Sky at number 3.
Mm.
I'm sure she might make an appearance on your list. I don't want to sway your opinion, though.
You're right.
I my number 2 is your number 3. I got the Judgment Day. They defended that tag team championship on Raw over our guys the New Day. So that's my number 2.
My number 2 is Io because one, I'm a big Io fan and I love Bianca. And the fact that they had a stat that Bianca's only lost one one-on-one match all year before that match. And Io beat her clean as a whistle. It was a roll up, call it what you want. But I fucking love some Io. And Bianca's entrance, like that music and the little dance she does, like all that shit works, man. She's a fucking star. And then when the bell rings, she's even fucking better than what she looks like. Io beat her. Just good shit all around between those two. And then my number 1, still your undisputed WWE World Heavyweight Champion, the American Nightmare, my boy, Cody Rhodes.
Oh, it's your boy this week.
Yeah, wasn't wearing a suit when he came out there with Roman. You noticed that, right?
Yeah, the match Roman's interview.
The sweats.
Yeah, I mean, that's my number 1 as well. American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. So we were on the same page with a lot of these picks. So shout out to Cody Rhodes, and we'll see how this odd couple works at Bad Blood. We still got a couple weeks before it happens, so be a fine build up.
I watched a lot of goddamn wrestling this weekend, EJ.
Yeah, I'm surprised you got to peep the Victory Road.
And yeah, I've tweeted about that too. I know you said you hadn't been on Twitter. I tweeted about that early fucking Saturday morning. I was sitting at my dining room table with a cup of coffee watching that shit while my girlfriend and the kids were asleep. I was watching Victory Road, making breakfast on my Blackstone.
Hey, like you said, Saturday morning cartoons catching up with wrestling now.
There will never be another time like that.
Hey,
I'm not a reminiscing guy, but like that was just such a perfect time when you excuse me, when you were younger and you just kind of wake up, your parents make breakfast. If they made breakfast, usually I made my own breakfast. My parents probably fucking hungover and drunk still. Make your own breakfast and you just for 2 hours, you know? X-Men was on. What was another one? I'm a little older than you, so like Saturday mornings cartoons changed a lot for me. But I remember Masters of the Universe, He-Man, that was one that was always on. X-Men was like the 90s.
Yeah, that's my wheelhouse.
Marshall Bravestar. It was like a 2-hour block, right? And obviously cartoons would come on throughout the week, like after school, but that shit was like fucking Darkwing Duck and Garfield. Like, nobody gave a fuck about them. But that little 2-hour block on Saturday morning, man, that was the shit. And then WWF Superstars would come on. Boy, you talk about living the dream. And then you go outside till the sun came down. Every fucking Saturday, it was the same thing. Never be a time like that. Kids will damn never know.
I know, right? Like I was Master of the Universe. That was before my time. But you know, I've seen replays of it. But my heyday, like you said, was X-Men, Spider-Man, Power Rangers, was that Saturday morning? It may have been, but
I think Power Rangers
it was
was
during
like
the
I
week.
was
I
in
know they were
eighth
during the
grade. Yeah,
weekday.
that was during the week. That was during the week after school was Power Rangers.
Yeah. And then you had the obscure cartoons that you probably a little bit too old that people don't even remember, like Street Sharks.
Oh
and
my God. I remember the cartoons for those. Not the
yeah,
cartoons, the commercials for those.
yeah, they had a cartoon to go along with the toys. Street Sharks.
Street Sharks.
And like
That's so fair. Didn't one of them have like a leather jacket?
yeah, like some reason like those like random ones pop up in my head sometimes. But yeah, man. Saturday morning cartoons used to be the shit.
Yeah, now I fucking have a cup of coffee and watch pro wrestling on Saturday mornings.
There you go.
Street clothes wrestler of the week, EJ, and then we'll get to NFL picks and get the hell up out of here.
My street clothes wrestler of the week. She looked very regal, and she was reunited with her father at the Victory Road pay-per-view.
I love it.
I got Ariana Grace. She's always been one of my favorites as far as yeah, exactly. For all those that are just listening, Rucker gave us the pageant wave.
So eloquent.
Yeah, yeah, man. I'm hoping they continue this because both of them have comedic chops, and she's one of my favorite personalities on NXT. Even though she has been kind of quiet lately on the NXT, so maybe that's why they're featuring her on the TNA. So I got Ariana Grace as my street clothes every week. Had the nice gown, had the sash on. Like I said, looking very eloquent on there.
My street clothes wrestler of the week, you know, I feel bad because I didn't watch Collision during All Out, and I didn't see what she was wearing when she came out to make the save when Mariah May attacked Sky Blue. But then she pulled up on Collision this week talking that shit to the professor. I'm going Queen Amanada.
Okay. She was talking that shit to Serena Deeb. She was like, I thought you was gonna win. And then Amanada went out there and won. And then Serena Deeb didn't take a liking to that. She beat her ass after she won the match. She beat Robin Renegade. Yeah. What's the Japanese woman's name? Yuta. She acts like
Yuka?
childlike. Yeah, she acts childlike.
I could not
Apparently,
roll my eye. If I rolled my eyes any harder, it went to the back of my fucking head. I did not like that with her.
but she's been on the AEW roster for like a while, and she just randomly pops up. She's in the video game, like for some reason, like she doesn't pop. Like I don't really have any notable memories of her.
Yeah.
But they're trying to heat her back up to face Mariah May. Which, it's whatever. I need
Yeah.
the Mariah
Queen
May to sink her
Amanada,
teeth. Yeah.
if I haven't said this before, that is a good looking lady. Like
Yeah.
she is beautiful.
West African beauty. Her and Red Velvet should have a tag team.
They do. They're
How they
they're
do?
cool. ROH. Yeah. That's why I watch ROH for her and Red Velvet. I don't watch it for fucking anything else. I mean, Athena's funny as hell too, but I literally watch ROH because of Queen Amanada and Red Velvet.
I thought you watched it for Billy Starks and Mark Briscoe.
No.
uh,
But yeah, Queen Amanada, that's my street clothes wrestler of the week. She can wear whatever she wants.
hey, I dig it.
That's the shit only people like you would know about, EJ. You know, y'all can wear whatever y'all want. You look good in it.
What? Just because we got melanin? That's not true.
No, they ain't got nothing to do with that. You're in good shape.
Oh,
You can put on whatever you want. You know, big nigga like me, I gotta watch what I wear.
nah, you can't. You might think that, but you still got to like what John Witherspoon got to coordinate.
Gotta coordinate.
Can't Can't be looking all crazy out in these streets, but I appreciate the compliment.
NFL picks. How we do last week, EJ?
We both did not do well. We both did shitty, but you did better than me slightly. I went a whopping 5-11, and
Woo!
you went 6-10.
Woo!
Which puts our overall record closer. We're neck and neck now. I'm 18-14, and you're 17-15. So,
Damn. We picked a lot of the same games last week.
We did, and the 3 games we didn't, you went 2-1 in the games that we didn't choose. So
it's very early though. Like teams that are winning shouldn't be winning right now.
Yeah. Like,
all right, let's start
Vikings.
This Thursday night, we got the New England Patriots traveling to New York or New Jersey to take on the Jets. Both teams are 1-1. EJ, who you got?
I not making the same mistake picking the Patriots. I'm going with the Jets.
Patriots won last week, though.
They did not. They lost. You picked against them, actually.
I thought they won this past week. No, they lost to Seattle. You're right. I'm going to take the Jets as well. You have the 0-2 New York Giants traveling to Cleveland to take on the 1-1 Cleveland Browns, who got up off the deck after Dallas beat them. I will take the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I'm going Browns. The Giants are just dog shit.
The 1-1 Chicago Bears travel to Indianapolis to take on the Indianapolis Colts.
Ooh, this is hard one.
0-2.
Yeah, even though Richardson looked good that first week in the loss.
Looks real good.
I guess I'll go with the Colts in this one. You got to get the first win somehow.
Damn, that's who I was picking too. I'm picking the Colts. Battle of Unbeatens. The 2-0 Houston Texans travel to Minnesota to take on the Vikings.
I think I'll go with Texans on this one.
God damn it. I was going to pick Texans. This was my turn to go first.
My bad. Even if you would have picked, I wasn't going Vikings even if you picked them.
Yeah, I'll pick the Texans also. The Philadelphia Eagles travel to New Orleans to take on the 2-0 unbeatable New Orleans Saints. Them motherfuckers look like the greatest show on turf against them.
Oh shit!
I got the Saints, man. I think Philly's in trouble this year.
Hey, you predicted it at the beginning. No, you predicted the 49ers. You said the 49ers, but you might be right. They didn't look fairly good last week. The 49ers, it's the Vikings, but I'm gonna go Saints too.
The 2-0 Los Angeles Chargers travel to Pittsburgh to take on the also unbeaten Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm taking the Chargers. Pittsburgh shouldn't be 2-0.
Man, we got a lot of same picks. We gotta go differently, but I'm going with the Chargers as well in this one. Like you said, the Steelers have been skating by. Even though they are -2 in this game, but I think the Chargers, they spare you usually 2 points when you're playing at home, so it's pretty much a pick 'em. So I'm gonna go with Chargers.
The 0-2 Denver Broncos travel to Tampa Bay to take on the unbeaten Tampa Bay Buccaneers. EJ, who you got?
Shake and bake. Baker's kind of revitalized his career down there in Tampa. Maybe it's the sun compared to Cleveland, where he was with the Panthers for a little bit. Nobody does well in Cleveland, but I'm gonna go with the Bucks on this one.
I got the Bucks as well. And then you got the 1-1 Green Bay Packers traveling to Tennessee to take on the 0-2 Tennessee Titans. And I smell an upset. Tennessee Titans defeat the Green Bay Packers.
I don't know. Maybe I see where that game's at. It's a little bit out of order on here. It's towards the top. So, is Jordan Love still out?
I don't care. Whether he's there or not, they're losing.
I think he's out.
Assumption that he's playing, but whether he plays or not, I think Tennessee still wins.
I think he's out. I'm going to go with the Titans on this one.
The 0-2 Carolina Panthers travel to take on the Las Vegas Raiders. Let's just say we're both going to pick against the Panthers every game this year.
Yeah, they shit, and they benched Bryce Young. I told you, man. Small quarterbacks, they get exposed quick.
Nah, they just fucked him over in Carolina.
How
He's got no
so?
weapons. He's got no weapons. He's got no offensive line. He's got no nothing. Like it's just a shitty team, a shitty system. Like honestly, I wouldn't mind fucking Dallas sending Cooper Rush to Carolina and letting Bryce Young back up Dak.
Oh,
I'd be
no.
fine with that.
We'll see how that plays out.
The 1-1 Miami Dolphins travel to the great Pacific Northwest to take on the undefeated Seattle Seahawks.
Mm. No Tua, no win. I got the Seahawks.
I think Miami's going to rally behind their quarterback and get a win for him while he's out.
All right, the first game, we didn't pick the same team.
Detroit Lions at 1-1 travel to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. decided, let's go 4 for 192 and 2 touchdowns in the first half.
You waiting for me to pick?
I'm going to pick the Cardinals.
I'm gonna go with Detroit to bounce back. I'm gonna go with Detroit on this one. I don't know why I keep picking against the Cardinals. For some reason, every time I pick against them, they win. So this might be the lesson that I finally need to learn.
One game this year, so.
And I think did I pick against? I don't know. I might have picked for them the first week. I don't know.
The 0-2 Baltimore Ravens travel to Dallas, the home of the last two biggest ass kickings for the Dallas Cowboys. They went 9-0 at home last year, got their ass spanked in the playoffs, and then got their ass spanked last week at home. Dallas can't stop the run. The Ravens can't stop people from beating them. Who you got, EJ?
All right, Cowboys. I'm picking y'all for this one, and then I'm gonna start having to get objective of what my eyes see after this week. I'm going with the Cowboys.
Nothing worse than a dangerous, desperate team led by Jim Harbaugh. I think the Cowboys will win, but if I had to put my money on it, I'm picking the Ravens.
But that's not a pick for. You gotta say who you picking for.
I'm picking the Ravens.
Really? This is the first
Yeah.
time since the history of Boot to the Face that you haven't picked the Cowboys. I already put the R on the Cowboys. I gotta erase it.
San Francisco travels to LA to take on the Rams are 0-2 starting out. Oof, that's gonna be a good one. Give me the Los Angeles Rams. San Francisco is now 1-2 after 3 games. They're under 500. McCaffrey's on IR.
The Rams
Steve
haven't
Bono playing quarterback.
the Rams haven't shown me any. Like, I'm surprised that they've gotten off to, because people were like, "This is the bounce back team of the year," but critics.
Puka Nacua is hurt.
Yeah, you still got Cooper Kupp. I don't know how their running game is looking. Maybe Matthew Stafford's finally starting to show his age, but you go 0-3, that's hard to dig out of. So I'm going to go with the Rams as well. I'm not confident in that pick because 49ers have been owning them in recent years, but I'm going to go with the Rams as well.
The 2-0 Kansas City Chiefs travel to Atlanta to take on the comeback kid Atlanta Falcons. Who you got, EJ?
Cousins gives you a better chance than whoever was quarterback last year, Redmond or whatever his name was.
Desmond.
Desmond
Ritter.
Desmond Ritter. There you go. But I'm not picking against Patty Mahomes at this point right now. I'm gonna go with Chiefs.
I got the Chiefs also. For some reason, they waited till week 3 to do a doubleheader on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, they usually knock that out the first week.
On Monday.
Yeah.
We got the Jacksonville Jaguars at 0-2 traveling to Buffalo to take on the quiet 2-0 Buffalo Bills.
The fighting Shad and Tony Collins ain't looking too hot this far. It's hard to go on the road and win. Like I don't see any evidence that they will, but it's the NFL. It's so hard to predict from week to week. You might have an upset, but not putting all my eggs in that basket. I'm gonna go with the Bills on this one.
I'm gonna go with the Bills. Also, Jags will be 0-3, and the percentages of making the playoffs at 0-3 are not that good. Speaking of, the Commanders of Washington travel to the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are 0-2. The Commanders are 1-1. Commanders actually first place in the NFC East because they have a division win against the Giants.
Hey, they better enjoy that while that lasts. But
Yeah, because it'll be over Monday night.
I'm gonna go with Joe Burrow to finally bounce back. They were in it that whole Chiefs game. They didn't look bad, but came down to the kicker. But I'm gonna go with Joey B in his '90s look with his bleach blonde hair to get the win.
Oh, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
go with the Bengals also.
That'll have it, right? That's the wraps it up for the week with this NFL, right?
Yep, that's it.
That's also. Sorry to cut you off, but that's also odd that they're gonna have those games running at the same time, like making the fans pick.
Yeah, usually they do an early game on the East Coast and a late game on the West Coast, but I don't know. The NFL is weird, man. I saw the Cowboys schedule around Thanksgiving. They have a Monday night game, followed by a Sunday daytime game, followed by a Thursday game.
Yeah, that is weird.
So you get 6 days rest in between one game, and you get 3 days rest in between another game. So much for NFL safety, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we're all about safety now. No, y'all aren't. It's all about the money.
Anything you want to say before we get up out of here, AJ?
Nah, nothing out of the ordinary. Just like I said, thanks to everybody for listening. Make sure to follow us. X, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure to like and subscribe on there. Yeah, that's all I got.
For EJ Reed, I'm Chris Rucker. This has been Boot to the Face. Until next time, peace.
Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Quick to put a dude in